Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Как сказать, я тебя жду уже 5 минут.
I'm waiting for you.
Хорошо, смотри,
Five
Катенька,
minutes.
давай мы сделаем так. Если ты уже ждешь кого-то и просто ждешь без указания времени, там одна форма. А если ты хочешь сказать время, то нужно немножко по-другому говорить, да? Вот просто I'm waiting for you. Yes, I'm
I'm
waiting.
waiting for you.
Типа, вот давай вот это сделаем. Да-да-да, я жду, да. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
А если ты хочешь время указать, то нужно говорить have been.
I have been.
Да, I've been waiting for you for 5 minutes.
I've been waiting for you for 5 minutes.
I've been waiting for you for 10 minutes.
I've been waiting for you for 10 minutes.
Или for how long have you been waiting for me?
Or how long have you been waiting for me?
Да, молодец. Только немножко been меньше. Have you been? Чтобы have you been? For how long have you been waiting for me?
For how long have you been waiting for me?
Хорошо, давай немножко слова подучим, не учили давно. Так, let's learn some vocabulary.
Let's learn some vocabulary.
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 Да, some words. Let's learn some words.
Oh,
Так,
my lovely dictionary.
dictionary, yes. Так, метание копья это javelin.
Javelin. My dictionary always come back.
Так, хорошо, метание молока. Hammer throw.
Hammer throw.
Так, record. Ну, как бы это именно рекорд поставить, да, record.
Record.
Есть такое выражение, let's set the record straight.
Let's set the record straight.
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 Это речь идет, знаешь, о чем? Когда, типа, так, давай-ка разберемся сейчас, тут, чтобы не было ничего непонятного, да? Let's set the record straight.
Let's set the record straight.
Так, секундомер, stopwatch.
Stopwatch.
Скажи, а я буду использовать секундомер. I'm going to use the stopwatch.
The stopwatch.
Так, марафон. Marathon. Так, ты бегатель марафона, типа, имеется в виду человек, который занимается этим. Are you a marathon runner?
Are you a marathon runner?
Rider?
Rider.
Are you a marathon rider?
Are you a marathon rider?
Скажи, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm a dancer.
I'm a dancer, yes. So, сейчас, секундочку. Так, пятиборье, да. Pentathlon. Это пятиборье, там это 5 видов спорта входит. Я сейчас не помню какие, да. Так, побить рекорд. To break a record. Типа я собираюсь побить рекорд, да. I'm trying to или I'm going to break a record.
No, you can't do this. I'm sure in it.
Да, you can't break a record.
You can't break a
Скажи,
record.
it is very difficult to break a record.
It is very difficult to break a
Не,
record.
во-первых, убирай 2 раза very. Это вообще само слово паразит. Да, ну, лучше скажи так, it's quite difficult to break a record.
It's quite difficult to break a record.
Так, личный рекорд, personal best.
Personal best.
Так, допинг, dope.
Dope.
Да, steroids.
Steroids.
Да, допинг это такое, ну, типа таблетки, какие-то химикаты, которые увеличивают, качество спортсмена, да, они запрещены, да. Так, семиборье, да. Heptathlon. Да. Так, фото-финиш.
Photo finish.
Так, время, time. Как сказать, сколько у нас время есть?
How much time do we have?
Отлично. Ты
А можно вопрос задать?
Ага.
Сегодня на сколько урок времени длится?
А что ты хотела? Ну, полчасика у нас же.
Да, просто вот уже у нас лето началось. Вот, поэтому и спрашиваю. Может, там с мамой что-то договаривались?
Ну, мы с мамой договорились, я просто, как сказать, не знаешь, я ж не знаю вашей ситуации, там, какие у вас планы, да, то есть я ей напишу, что ты спрашиваешь, да, ну, я думаю, может, она там тебе хочет не дать, I thought maybe, I thought that your mom, скажи, I thought that your mom
I thought that your mom
want to give you,
want to give you
да, a week of rest,
a week of
или
rest,
a break for a week, да.
a break for a week. Oh,
Maybe your mom wants to give you a break for a week, I just don't
wait.
know. Yeah, I'll talk to her later, I'll talk to her.
I'll talk to her. Кстати, я закончила школу на отлично.
I have no doubt about that. I never doubted, скажи. I never doubted about that.
Doubt it?
Не сомневался. I have no doubt. Да.
I have no doubt.
Или I absolutely have no doubt.
I absolutely have no doubt.
И ты закончишь школу, and you'll graduate your school.
And you'll graduate school
Да, with 2 foreign languages.
with 2 foreign languages.
In each pocket. В каждом кармане у тебя будет по одному иностранному языку in each pocket.
In each pocket?
Ну, как бы, ну, условно говоря, в одном кармане английский, в другом китайский. Китайский, да. Gymnastics, да? Gymnastics.
Gymnastics. You know, have you ever know that what subjects do you need to pass if you want to go to the dentist?
No, I mean, you have to study at university, скажи.
Я знаю, что надо учиться в университете, но вы знаете, какие экзамены нужно сдавать для стоматолога?
Но, скажи, я не знаю много деталей, скажи, я не глубоко в теме, кстати. I'm not deep into that.
Нет, я вас спрашиваю, вы знаете, ответьте да или нет?
No, I mean...
But I know.
Which tests?
I need to pass профильную математику.
You mean to pass? Знаешь, вот что ты неправильно сказала. Я чувствую, не совпадает. Поступить to admit. Do you know what test I have to pass to admit?
To admit. Профильную математику, русский, биологию и химию, английский дополнительный.
Хорошо. Ну,
поэтому I need to learn English.
Все-таки study, I need to study. Да, learn это как бы выучить, а это учить. I need to study English.
I need to study English.
Да, но мы попозже будем уже заниматься уже и что-то по dentistry. We're gonna study something about dentistry.
We're gonna study something about dentistry.
Так, спортивная гимнастика, gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Do you like gymnastics?
Do you like gymnastics?
Yeah.
I was doing gymnastics when I was 7 age.
Не. When I was 7 years old, да, скажи, when I
was 7 years old, but after that
Что?
Бросил.
Да, I stopped doing it, да.
I stopped doing it.
Хотя слово бросить можно сказать give up, да, как бы отдала. I gave up.
I gave up.
I gave up doing it, да. I started doing dancing, да. I started doing
dancing because it's more interesting.
Не, хорошо, it's more interesting, да. Не можно сказать, что I like that more. Because I like that more. Да. Можно сказать, еще, знаешь, есть такое выражение, страсть была как бы к этому. I have more passion for dancing, да.
I have more passion for dancing.
Хорошо. I understand that, okay. Все, ну давай позанимаемся, дойдем до конца вот по грамматике. Кусочек. Сейчас.
Oh no.
Так, копируем, да? Мы не говорим себя. Наша задача, мы как бы...
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Words are pronouns or relative pronouns, and they're
Сейчас.
sometimes behave like... I wouldn't call them nouns. That'll just get confusing.
Сейчас.
These are pronouns, and we'll get to them later. Sentence number 4. Raul has big dreams. So here we have Raul again. We know from the first sentence that it's a person's name.
Так, поехали.
So
Так, сейчас, секундочку.
also a noun again.
Сейчас.
Sentence that Raul has big dreams.
Так. Вот сюда идем. Так, поехали.
And they can sometimes behave like nouns, but I wouldn't...
They can sometimes... И вверх переходит. They can sometimes behave like nouns. Давай.
They can sometimes
Behave... Опускай скорость, еле справляешься. Сюда смотрим. Вот сюда, Катенька.
Yes,
They can sometimes behave like nouns. Давай.
They can sometimes behave like nouns.
Отлично.
I wouldn't call them nouns.
I wouldn't, и потом I wouldn't call them nouns. Вот так вот.
I wouldn't call them nouns.
Да. И давай весь кусочек. They can sometimes behave like nouns, but I wouldn't call them nouns.
They can sometimes behave
Не,
like
sometimes,
nouns.
выделяем sometimes. They can sometimes behave like nouns, but I wouldn't call them nouns.
They can sometimes behave like nouns, but I couldn't like nouns.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call them nouns.
But I wouldn't call them nouns.
So that'll just get confusing. So these are pronouns.
Сейчас.
So that'll just get confusing. So these are
Да.
pronouns, and we'll get to them later.
Сейчас.
Sentence number 4. Raul has big dreams. So here we have Raul
Sure.
again. We know from the first sentence that it's a person's name.
Подожди.
So we're just gonna say this.
Так, сейчас.
So these are pronouns, and we'll get to nouns, but I wouldn't call them nouns.
Да, I wouldn't call them nouns. Да.
I wouldn't call them nouns.
That'll just get confusing. So these
Да. That'll just, вот сюда идем, да.
Местоимение.
That'll just get confusing.
They'll just get
Не, вот
confused.
это, смотри, that'll just get confusing.
That'll just get confusing.
Да, that'll just get confusing.
That'll just get confusing.
these are pronouns, and we'll get to them.
Да, these are pronouns we'll get. Давай.
Lizard
Не,
pronouns.
там нужно,
will
чтобы было мягкое. These are, Катенька, смотрим на экран, да.
вот.
These are pronouns.
get- Lizard pronouns.
Them later.
And we'll get to them later. And we'll get to them later.
And we'll get to them later.
Later, не делаешь later.
Later.
Да. These are pronouns, and we'll get to them later. Да.
Lizard pronouns.
Не, мягкое. These are pronouns, and we'll get to them later.
These are pronouns. We'll get them later.
Sentence number 4.
Да, sentence number, ты видишь, почти не выговариваются те. Sentence number 4, смотри.
Sentence
Sentence
number
number
4.
four.
So these are sentence number 4.
Sentence number 4.
Sentence number 4.
Raul has big dreams.
Давай.
Sentence number 4.
Raul has big dreams.
Raul has big dreams.
Катенька, ты смотришь на экран, да?
Yeah, I'm watching on the screen.
Да. Не, watching все-таки не пойдет, да. I'm looking at the screen, да?
I'm looking.
Да.
Raul has big dreams.
Raul has big dreams.
Raul has big dreams.
Во, очень хорошо сейчас было.
So here we have Raul again. We know from the first sentence.
Raul again we know for the first sentence. Давай. Raul we know from the first
Можете
sentence.
подсказать, пожалуйста, где это находится?
Вот. Раул, тут просто не повторяй, не написано Раул. Раул,
Живой.
да. Сейчас, смотри.
And we know from the first sentence that it's a person's name. So we're just going to say this is also a noun again.
Да. Давай. It's also a noun again.
So this is a noun
Смотри,
again.
вот так делаем, смотри.
So we're just going to say this.
So we're just gonna say this. Давай, тихонечко. So we're just gonna say this.
So we're just gonna say this.
Мгм.
So we're just going to say this is also a noun again.
It's also a noun again. Да.
So we're gonna say this is also a noun again.
Хорошо.
And dream.
И останавливается. And dreams.
And dream.
Мгм.
Now, dream
Так,
isn't a
загадочно.
person.
Да. Now a dream isn't a person. Now a
Now,
dream
dream
isn't a person.
isn't a person.
Да. Isn't a person.
Isn't a person.
Не, не делаешь, послушай.
Now, dream isn't a person.
Isn't a person. Now a dream
Now,
isn't a person.
dream isn't a person.
Мгм.
A place. It's not. It's a
Да, a place. It's not.
Our place. It's not.
thing.
It's a thing, sure.
It's a thing, sure.
Sure. The reason I put in idea as a
Да. Давай. The reason I put an idea.
The reason for an idea.
Сейчас.
the reason I put in idea
Да. The reason I put in idea
The reason I put an idea
as a fourth category is
as a fourth category.
as a first category.
Не category as a fourth category.
As a first category.
Не category.
Category.
Не не делаешь. As a fourth category.
As a fourth category.
Не скажи Карина.
Карина.
Карине по-русски. Карина корит себя за корицу.
Карина корит себя за корицу. Что это значит?
Ну это скороговорка, Катя. Да, Карина корит себя за корицу.
Карина корит себя за корицу.
Еще раз. Карина корит себя за корицу.
Карина корица вязать корицу.
The reason I put in idea
The reason I put it idea
The reason I put it idea.
as a fourth category is to
as a fourth category is...
The first category is
get at stuff that you can't.
Да. Get at stuff that you can't pick up.
get stuff that you can't pick up.
Or is to get at stuff that you can't pick up.
You can't pick up. Вот так вот.
You can't pick up.
Like for example, the word dream. Yeah.
Like for example the word... Давай.
Like for example, the dream.
Like for example, the word dream. Yes, dream.
So dream, yes.
So yes.
Он там несколько the word, он не договорил слово. Like for example the word dreams. Like for example the word dreams. Давай.
Like for example, so dreams.
Like for example, the word dream. Yes, dream is a noun.
Да. Sim, dream, yes. Dream is a noun, да.
Sim dream, yes, dream is a noun.
Хорошо, получше стало.
Dream is maybe a little tangible because
The dream is maybe a little tangible.
Dream is maybe a little tangible.
Tangible, не changeable, а tangible. У тебя там чек, как че звучит? Послушай.
dream is maybe a little tangible because it's
Dream is maybe a little tangible. Давай.
The dream is a little bit tangible.
Не, там не было a little bit. Dream is maybe a little tangible. Dream is maybe a little tangible.
Dream is a little tangible.
Maybe. Dream is maybe a little tangible.
Dream is maybe a little tangible.
dream is maybe a little tangible because it's something you can imagine.
Because it's something, не говоришь because, because it's something you can imagine.
Was it something you can imagine?
Да, давай теперь целиком. Dream is maybe a little tangible because it's something you can imagine.
Dream Dream is maybe a little tangible because it's something you can imagine.
Не, ты сделай, как он говорит. Зачем ты свою интонацию добавил?
Because it's
Что
something
я
you can
сделала не
imagine.
так?
You can imagine, а ты говоришь imagine. Because it's something you can imagine.
Because
Because
it's something you can imagine.
Вот.
Мне даже
the idea
это
of,
надо
like,
делать.
А?
Because it's some
Конечно, Катя, конечно. Ты потом, ну, это реальный путь к тому, чтобы ты говорила, как человек, который вырос в стране.
because it's something you can imagine.
Да. И затормаживаешься на imagine. Because it's something you can't imagine. Давай.
Because it's something you can't imagine. Can't или can't?
Не, can't. А почему ты спрашиваешь? Ты что, не смотришь на текст?
Нет, я смотрю.
Ну, хорошо. Да.
Because it's something you can imagine.
You can, даже не can, а can. Because it's something you can imagine. Давай.
А почему англичане вот так вот сокращают звук?
А почему ты сказала? А почему, смотри? Ты сказал, а почему? Ты же не говоришь, а почему? Ты же как сказал по-русски? Почему англичане? Так и сделай.
Ой.
Мы то же самое делаем в своем
А,
языке.
ой.
Ты говоришь, почему, вот скажи еще раз, а почему англичане?
А почему англичане?
Видишь, только англичане. Почему англичане? Вот так же. Почему англичане? А так бы, а почему англичане? Вот так бы ты хочешь, чтобы мы так тоже разговаривали? Так не работает. Да. Так что ты, как сказать, в зеркало смотри. Да.
Because it's something you can imagine.
Because it's something you can imagine.
Because it's something you can imagine.
But the idea of like a word like bigness.
But the idea of like a word like bigness.
But the idea was like bigness.
Еще раз.
Like nice.
But the idea of like a word like bigness.
A word like bigness.
A word like bigness.
Or if you prefer, size.
Or if you prefer,
Or if you prefer, size.
немножко полегче, сделай.
Or if you prefer, size.
Смотри. Or if you prefer, size.
All of you prefer, size.
Is. The size of Raoul's plumage was astonishing.
Так, перья, это плавно.
The size of Raoul's. Как он там запинался?
Сейчас.
The size.
Вот так. The size. The size.
The size.
Сейчас, секундочку.
The size.
Вот так делай мне. Тебя спросят, как вы учите английский? А мы на английском учим вот это вот. Меня учитель учит, как у тебя учат английский? А он меня учит вот это делать. Давай.
The size of, or if you prefer, size.
А, кстати, он size тоже это делает. Oh, you prefer, size. Вот так сделай мне. Все, подожди.
Or if you prefer, size.
Не-не-не, ну, Катенька, балуешься. Давай, смотри.
Or if you prefer,
А prefer, кстати, он тоже. Oh, you prefer. Да, смотри, послушай.
or if you prefer, size.
Вот так сделай.
Or if you prefer, size.
Не, size.
Size.
Oh, if you prefer, size.
Or if you prefer, size.
Хорошо, хорошо.
The size of,
The size. The size.
The size.
Ого.
the size of Raoul's,
Of.
Of.
Сейчас, подожди.
the size of,
А потом the size of смотри, the size of вот так вот.
The size
size
of.
of-
Что, должна быть собачка, чтобы так делать? Of.
Катя, это реально человек, когда, видишь, я же не говорю, когда, это реально, когда человек разговаривает вот так вот. Это же все нужно слышать, да? Ты потом можешь так не говорить, но когда ты это будешь слышать, ты будешь совершенно по-другому воспринимать, понимаешь?
Why?
the size of Raoul's plumage was
The
astonishing.
size
The plumage was astonishing.
of the sun.
Look at that gorgeous plumage.
Look at that gorgeous plumage. Да.
Look at that gorgeous plumage.
Gorgeous.
Ouch.
Look at that gorgeous.
Look at that. Да. Look at that.
Look at it. Look at
Еще
it.
легче. Look at that.
Look at it. Look at it.
Look at that gorgeous.
Look at that. Сделай такое. Look at it. Look at it.
With it. With it. With it.
Look at that gorgeous plumage.
Gorgeous plumage. Это такое.
Gorgeous plumage.
It's a little penguin mohawk.
The penguin mohawk.
Pink and Mohawk.
Mohawk. Это такой гребень, как бы, да? Кстати, есть город Mohawk.
Mohawk есть город?
Да. Где-то недалеко, где я там жил, Америка. Да. A little penguin. Так, сейчас.
Little penguin.
Penguin mohawk.
Mohawk. It's little
Penguin.
penguin Mohawk.
It's little penguin Mohawk.
Мгм.
It's a little penguin mohawk.
Да.
Это он сделал? Это или вы?
Да, но он как бы рисует, да, он же делает видео такое. Смотри.
It's a little penguin mohawk.
So we'll make
The
a
sun-
penguin Mohawk.
Это видишь high pitch murmurs, типа вот это вот называется murmurs, мурчание, да. Скажи пим-пим-пим.
Bim bim bim.
It's a
Смотри.
little penguin mohawk. The size of Raoul's plumage was astounding.
The size of Raoul's plumage
Was astounding.
was astounding. It's so cute.
Мгм, мгм.
In that sentence, size is a noun, but it's
Да. In that sentence, size is a noun.
And the sentence size is a noun.
Не, послушай.
now in that sentence, size is a noun, but it's not a physical thing.
It's not a, так вот, it's not a physical thing.
It's not a physical thing. Что означает physical thing?
Физическая вещь, да?
Да?
Да.
Now in that sentence, size is a noun, but it's not.
То есть мы говорим, смотри, существительное размер, да? Но размер это что? Это не то, что можно взять в руки, понимаешь? Это существительное, да? Но это тоже называется intangible. Скажи intangible.
Intangible.
То есть оно есть, но его
Intangible.
нельзя взять в руки. Размер, да? Большой размер, самый большой размер. Как ты можешь взять размер в руки? Или, например, настроение. Это тоже intangible, да? То есть то, что нельзя взять. Потому что это потом выходит в артикле и так далее. Все.
Now in that
Oh
sentence,
my
size
God.
is a noun, but it's not a physical.
Да, it's not, он как бы закатывается. It's not, смотри, как интересно дело, смотри.
It's not a physical thing.
It's not a physical thing. Вот так вот, да.
It's not a physical
Не, ты делай как он, Катенька.
It's not a physical.
Да, it's not, потом it's not a physical thing, да.
It's not a physical thing.
Не, Катя, копируем ритм, смотри.
It's not a.
It's not a physical thing, давай.
It's not a physical thing.
It's not a physical thing. It's not a person. It's not a place. It's not something.
It's not a person, it's not a place.
It's not a person, it's not a place.
Сейчас, секундочку.
Saying it's not a person, it's not a place. It's not
It's not a place, да. It's not a person, it's not a place.
It's not a person or not a place.
something you can pick up.
It's something you can pick up, да.
But something you can pick up.
It's an idea.
It's an idea,
It's an idea.
да. То есть, как бы, размер — это идея, да. Настроение — это тоже, как бы сказать, то, что нельзя взять от руки.
So that's why I include this fourth category.
Да. That's why I include this fourth category.
That's why I include.
Не, там он so говорит, подожди.
So that's why I include
So that's why I include this fourth category.
So that's why I include this first category.
So that's why I include this fourth category.
So that's why I include this fourth category.
So that's why I include those fourth that category.
So if you're trying to figure out
So, if you're trying to, да. So, if you're trying to figure out, да.
So, if you're trying to figure out. А что означает figure out?
Это фигура вычислить.
Это пытается понять, да?
Да, вычислить, да, понять, вычислить. I have to figure out this. Должен вычислить, должен понять, должен разобраться, должен отсортировать, должен прояснить. Да?
So if you're trying to figure out
If you're trying to figure out, вот так дело. So. Да, so. Так.
So if you're trying to figure out whether or not a word is a noun,
Whether or not the word is a noun, давай.
This is not the word, the noun.
just apply this test.
Just apply this test.
Just apply this test.
Ask yourself, is it a person, a place,
Ask yourself, is a
Thing.
person?
or an idea?
Так, давай. Ask yourself, it's a person, a place,
Ask yourself, person, place, or an idea.
a thing? Не, a thing. Так,
Okay.
смотри, чтобы вычислить, значит, ты должна понять, что, повторяю, существительные попадают в 4 категории.
Существительные попадают в 4 категории.
Да. Личность, то есть, да,
Личность,
то есть человек, да, место,
место,
вещь
вещь
и идея.
и идея.
Или мысль какая-то, да?
Или мысль какая-то, да.
You, my friend, will be golden.
You, my friend, will be golden.
You, my friend, will be golden. Что
You
он
can learn
сказал?
anything.
You can-
Ты мой друг?
Нет, you will be golden имеется в виду, ты будешь золотой. А,
Навсегда.
Так, сейчас делаем так, Катя, смотри. Сейчас я пускаю немножко на меньшей скорости. Твоя задача просто читать текст и повторять за ним. Смотри.
Welcome to the English parts of speech.
Все, поехали.
Hello, grammarians. Welcome to the English
Ну
parts
давай,
of
не
speech.
останавливайся. Hello, grammarian, welcome to
А
English.
что, мне надо просто за ним повторять?
Да, просто за ним повторяем и все. Да.
Hello, grammarian.
Не, когда будет играться. Давай, Катенька, убирай там все со стола, смотришь на экран, давай. Давай, поехали.
Hello, grammarians. Welcome to the English parts of speech. We're going to begin
Hello,
with the
grammarian.
noun.
Welcome to the speech part of speech.
Не. Я сейчас тебе покажу, как надо. Смотри.
Hello,
Grammarians.
grammarians.
Hello,
Welcome to the
grammarians.
English parts of speech.
Welcome to
We're gonna
the
begin
English
with
parts of
the
speech.
noun.
We're going to begin to the noun. The lovely,
friend
wonderful
and
noun.
Нет, ты
your-
просто читаешь, Катя, так не пойдет. Нет, ты слушаешь. Хорошо.
У меня звук не идет. Он пропадает и появляется. Вот сейчас у меня полностью звук пропал.
Хорошо, а вот так.
Hello, grammarians. Welcome to the English parts of speech. We're going to begin with the noun.
Вот сюда смотри.
Oh, the lovely, wonderful noun. Your
Теперь
friend and
работает.
mine. They're mostly
Сейчас.
what you're going to encounter in sentences. Most sentences in English contain at least one noun
Almost
or a
at least one
pronoun.
noun.
But we'll get to pronouns later.
We'll get to pronounce
noun.
later.
Is
A noun.
basically anything.
Ну, что ж ты замолчал? Anything? У тебя есть пауза, ты на нее реагируй.
Especially helpful
Давай.
A noun especially.
definition, but we'll get more specific in a minute. A noun is basically anything at all.
Noun is basically
Now, the way
anything
this
at
is
all.
taught in traditional grammar is to say that a noun is a person, place, or
A noun
thing,
is a person, place.
which is fine. I think we can
Ну,
Which is
make
fine.
that a
I
little
think
bit
we
sharper.
can make
and
that.
expand that
Well-
out by saying that nouns are people or living
Nouns
things,
are people or living things,
places,
places or ideas,
things,
Нет, ты сначала слушаешь, как он говорит, потом копируешь. Сама не говоришь, пока не услышишь.
Or ideas.
I think ideas is the one that usually
I
gets
think
left out.
ideas,
So,
the one
nouns can
usually
be
gets left.
places,
So nouns
things,
can be
and ideas.
people, places,
Let's
things,
put them
and
in action.
ideas. Let's put then.
So,
Uh,
this is Raul.
this is
He's
Raul.
from Argentina.
He's in
He is a
Argentina.
penguin.
He's a penguin.
Raul has big dreams.
Raul has big
Now,
dreams.
okay. So I want
Now,
to take
okay.
these three
So I
sentences
want to take these three
find the
sentences
nouns
and find the
using
noun
the
is
test.
using
So
the test.
the test is
So
the
the
person,
test is a person or living
Катя,
thing.
не обгоняй, не бери
Place.
не бери впереди поезда. Если ты не услышала, как звучит, не повторяй. Ты не читаешь, понимаешь? Мы не читаем. Ты
No,
копируешь.
what?
Ты сначала
But
слышишь,
why?
как звучит, потом повторяем. Подожди, давай,
But
отсюда.
why the sound? But why the sound is away?
Все, поехали.
so the test is
So
the
the
person
test is
or a living thing,
a living thing,
place,
a place,
a thing,
a thing.
A
Or
thing. Ты
idea.
слышала, как он сказал? A thing. А ты себя сказала. А нужно, как он говорит? A thing.
or a living
A
thing,
thing,
A living thing. A
place,
place.
place,
a thing,
a thing.
Ты слышала? A thing. А ты a thing говоришь. Ты себя, ты говоришь, как тебе удобнее, под себя. А ты должна копировать. Давай.
or a living thing,
A living
A living
thing.
thing,
Да.
place,
A place.
a place,
a thing,
A thing.
a
or
thing.
an idea. And if it's any
Ну, an idea. Катенька, что ты замолчала? Ты как ты не на экран не смотришь, ты не отвлекаешься там.
or a living
Ну, a
thing,
living thing.
Вот
Да.
вы понимаете, вот Дима Анатольевич, когда я слушаю, звук то пропадает, то не то включается.
А, я понял.
Я смотрю, он
Я знаешь, что я
пропадает.
сделаю? Я сейчас отключу свой микрофон, может быть, из-за этого. А ну-ка, давай.
a thing,
A thing
or an idea.
or an
And if it's
idea.
any of those things, then it falls into
And
the category
those
of
things
words in
falls,
English,
then
which
it
we call
falls on the
nouns.
category of
So,
words.
Sentence
With
number one.
sentence
This is
number one.
Raul.
This is Raul. What is
What is-
Raul? Well,
Катя, ты
Raul.
сначала слушаешь, как звучит, а потом повторяешь, а не просто читаешь. Потому что если ты будешь просто читать, ты интонацию своего... Давай, повтори после меня. Скажи, если я буду просто читать текст,
Если я буду просто читать текст,
то интонацию своего родного языка
интонацию своего родного языка
я переложу на иностранный.
я переложу на иностранный
И буду разговаривать.
и буду разговаривать,
как будто я на русском.
как будто я на русском,
Разговаривать
разговаривать
американо.
как американец.
Да. А это не есть хорошо.
Это не есть хорошо, даже когда вы отключили микрофон, все равно это не работает.
Нина, я сейчас отключу. Давай. Ты самое главное, не иди впереди паровоза. В плане того, что слушаешь, потом повторяешь, а не просто читаешь. Потому что просто читают в школе. Вот, и просто так дети читают. А нужно, мы делаем язык настоящий, понимаешь ты? Такой, чтобы сказали «вау». И пошли там, как сказать, расстроились. Да.
So, sentence number one,
So, проспала.
Sentence number one,
Да.
which we call nouns. So,
which we call
sentence number
noun.
one. This is Raul.
So, this is Raul.
What is Raul?
What is Raul?
Well, Raul is a person.
Well, Raul is a person or a
living
living
thing.
thing.
So we're just gonna say
So, what we're gonna say?
person, so
Person, so
noun.
noun.
Next sentence.
Next sentence.
He is from Argentina.
He's from Argentina.
Now, Argentina happens
Now,
to be
Argentina happens to be a place.
a place, so therefore it is also a
So,
noun.
that so is also a noun.
It's a kind of noun called a proper
It's
noun,
kind of noun from proper noun.
just like Raul is.
Just like Raoul.
But we'll get to that later.
But we'll get that later.
Что бы делать? Just to get to that later. Смотри,
Что?
он там говорит, just to get to that later, а ты этого не делаешь, вообще не делаешь.
It's a
What the-
kind of noun called a proper noun, just like Raoul is, but we'll get to that.
Just like Raoul is.
Tina
Послушай,
is just like Raoul is, but we'll get to that later.
Just like Raoul is, but we'll get that later. I don't have any sound.
just to get with that later, повтори, пожалуйста, как говорит оригинал. Just to
Just
get,
okay.
не just to get with that later. Вот так, да, давай.
So therefore, it is also a noun. It's a kind of noun called a proper noun, just like Raoul is.
Давай.
Just like Raoul is a well of later.
Слушай.
It's a kind of noun called a proper noun,
Kind of non-proper noun.
just like Raoul is, but we'll get to that later.
Just like Raoul, but we'll get to that later.
So Argentina is a noun.
So,
Нет, там уже нету этого. Это кусочек, это игра голосом. We get to that later. Да. А по Аргентина уже нету ничего этого. Давай.
Just like Raoul is, but we'll get to that later.
just like Raoul is, but we'll get to that
Ну, Катя, ну
later.
не балуемся, давай.
So Argentina is a noun.
Да. So,
So,
Аргентина.
Argentina is a noun.
Argentina, incidentally, is a country.
Давай.
So, Argentina is like that
Не,
country.
инцидент, не читаешь же, не видишь же. Argentina incidentally is a country.
Argentina, incidentally, is a country.
And the word country,
And the word country.
Ника, не слушаешь.
Argentina
Он же,
incidentally
как он
is a
слово word сказал? Послушай.
country,
Теперь слушай.
and the word country
And the word country.
Катя. And the word country. And the word country. Давай.
And the word country.
Вот.
and the word country
And the word country. Да.
And the word country.
Вот.
and the word country
And the word.
And the word country
is also a noun
is also a noun.
because it is
Because it
Because
is. Давай. Because it is
Because it is.
a thing.
a thing. Spouse.
Because it is a thing.
Не, a thing. А ты вниз уходишь. Because it is a thing.
Because it is.
Типа, та-да! Потому что это та-да!
And the word country is also a noun because it is a thing.
And the word country. Because it is.
Because it is a thing.
Давай.
Because it is a thing.
Ну, он же не так говорит, Катя. Ты устала уже, да? Давай.
Because it
Yeah.
is a thing.
A thing.
Because it is a thing.
Как бы, потому что это вещь. Как бы, понимаешь? Он говорит, because it is a thing. Давай.
Because it is
А?
И зачем ему такая интонация?
Катенька, ты не просто учишь язык, ты учишь язык, понимаешь, чтобы он у тебя был как родной язык, со всеми этими интонациями, недоработками, с этими заиканиями, понимаешь, чтобы все это было. Это настоящий язык, понимаешь ты? Давай.
because it is a thing.
A thing, да.
Because it is a thing.
Вот.
So, sentence the third. He is a penguin.
Давай.
He is the penguin. Открытие, да?
Хорошо, да. Пингвин, давай.
Now, a penguin is a living being or a thing. So,
Давай.
Now is the penguin a being or the thing?
we can say, oh yes,
We can say, oh yes. Да.
We can say, oh yes.
penguin. That is a noun
Давай.
Penguin is a noun.
Вот.
as well. So you noticed I'm not circling he
Давай.
I'm not circling of he
or this.
or this.
These words are pronouns or
These words are pronouns,
relative pronouns, and they're
relative pronouns.
they can sometimes behave like nouns, but
They can sometimes behave like nouns,
I wouldn't call them nouns. That
but I wouldn't call them nouns.
will just get confusing. So
They're just getting confusing.
these are pronouns, and we'll get to them later.
So these pronouns will they get them later.
Sentence number 4. Raul has big dreams.
Давай.
Sentence number 4. Raul has big dreams.
So here we have Raul again. We know.
So Raul again.
Yeah, here we have Rahul again.
So we can have Raul again.
From the first sentence that it's a person's name.
But the first sentence is that a person's name.
So we're just going to say this is also a noun again.
It's also a noun again.
And dreams.
Ну, что ж ты замолчала, Катенька? And dreams.
And dreams.
Now,
Я
dream is
молчал, потому что я не слышала.
Хорошо, да.
and dreams.
Да.
Now, dream is
And dreams.
not a person, a place. It's not. It's a
A
thing.
person, a place.
It's not? Давай.
It's
It's
not.
not. It's a thing. Sure. The
It's a
reason I
thing, sure.
put in idea as a fourth category is
As
to
a
get at
clear
stuff
of the fourth category.
that you can't pick up.
You can't pick up.
Like for example, the word dream.
Like
yes,
for example, so dreams.
dream is a noun.
Dream is a noun.
Dream is maybe a little tangible
It's maybe a little tangible
because it's something you can imagine.
because it's something you can imagine.
But the idea of like a word like bigness,
But the idea of word like bigness,
or if you prefer, size,
or if you prefer,
or if you prefer, size.
or if you prefer,
You know, size.
size.
The size of Raoul's plumage was astonishing.
The size of Raoul's promise was stunning.
Plumage.
A plumage.
Look at that gorgeous plumage.
Look at that gorgeous plumage.
It's a little penguin mohawk.
So the penguin mohawk.
The size of Raoul's plumage was astounding.
This is of Raoul's plumage.
Was astounding.
Was
In that
astounding.
sentence, size is a noun,
His size is the
but
noun.
it's not a physical thing. It's not a person. It's not a place. It's not something you can pick up.
It's not something that you can pick up.
It's an idea.
It's an idea.
So that's why I include this fourth category.
So that's why I include that first category.
If you're trying to figure out whether or
If
not
you're trying to figure
a
out
word is a noun, just apply
the
this
bird is a noun,
test. Ask yourself, is it a person,
ask
place,
yourself, is a person,
a thing,
a thing,
or an idea?
or an idea? Почему он так загадочно говорит?
Ну, он пытается, чтобы это было интересно. Это же дети все-таки смотрят. Кто смотрит такой материал? Ну, явно не взрослый человек.
А почему? Может,
My
взрослый.
friend will be golden.
Так, сейчас
Well,
делаем
that's
вот так.
all then.
Сейчас я включаю на...
What do you want to do with me? Again.
torture.
Torture?
Мгм.
Do you like this?
Так, еще раз. Сейчас я включаю без остановки, как есть. Просто повторяешь и все, идет и все. Давай.
И ты даже,
Hello,
даже
grammarians.
вы
Не,
даже
не, не,
останавливаетесь?
Да, не буду останавливать. Да, просто повторяешь, как что схватишь, что и схватишь. Давай.
Hello, grammarians.
Hello,
Welcome to
grammarians.
the English parts of speech.
Hello,
Begin
grammars,
with
this
the
part of
noun.
speech.
The
We're
lovely,
going to
wonderful
begin
noun.
with the
Your
noun.
friend
The
and
lovely,
mine.
wonderful noun, your
Mostly
friend
what
and
you're going
mine.
to encounter
We're most
in sentences. Most sentences in English contain at least one noun or a pronoun.
Yes. I can't hear you.
Сейчас просто повторяем, как есть, так и есть. Все.
Что это было?
Ну, что-то было, неважно, Катенька, все нормально, рабочая ситуация, поехали. Так, читаешь, что написано.
Marians, welcome to the English parts of
А
speech.
где текст?
We're going to begin with the noun. The lovely, wonderful
Ты читаешь
noun.
то, что тут
Your
есть.
friend and mine.
Вот просто то, что есть, ты читаешь. Да, оно внизу там будет. Сейчас я тебя желтым поставлю. Ну, вот так вот.
Hello, grammarians.
On.
Welcome to the English parts of speech.
Все, поехали.
We're going to begin with the noun. The lovely,
Ну,
wonderful
читаем,
noun.
читаем.
Your friend and mine. They're
Boyfriend and
mostly
mine.
what you're going to encounter in sentences. Most sentences in English contain at least
English
one noun
contain
or a pronoun.
this
But we'll get to
noun.
pronouns
A
later.
noun,
A noun
but a noun is basically anything.
I know that's not
And a noun
necessarily
is
helpful
not especially
definition, but we'll get
helpful.
more specific in a minute. A noun is basically anything at all.
And
Now, the
it's
way
basically
this is taught in
anything.
traditional grammar is to say that a noun is a person, place, or thing. Which is fine. I think we can make that a little bit sharper and expand that out by saying that that nouns are people or living things,
All living things,
places,
places,
things,
things,
or ideas.
or ideas.
Ideas is the one that usually gets left out. So nouns can be people, places,
People,
things, and ideas.
places, things.
Let's put that in action.
Let's put an action.
So, this is Raul.
This is
He's
Raul
from Argentina. He
from
is a
Argentina.
penguin. Raul has big dreams.
Raul has
So I
big
want to take
dreams.
these three sentences and find the nouns in them using the test. So the test is it a person
Test
or a living thing, a place,
a place,
a thing,
a thing,
or an idea? And if it's any of those things, then it falls into the category of words in English which we call nouns.
which is
So,
called
sentence number one. This is Raul.
Raul.
What is Raul?
What
Well,
is Raul?
Raul is a person or a living
Is a
thing.
person
So
or
we're
a
just going to
living-
say person, so
So,
noun.
now,
Next sentence. He
Next
is from
sentence.
Argentina. Now, Argentina happens to be a place, so therefore it is also a noun. It's a kind of noun called a proper noun, just like Raul is, but we'll get to that later. So Argentina is a noun. Argentina, incidentally, is a country.
country
Country is also a
is
noun,
also
because it is
what it
a
is
thing.
a thing.
So, sentence the third.
So,
He is a
is
penguin. Now, a penguin is a living being or a thing, so we can say, oh yes, penguin, that is a noun as well. So you've noticed I'm not circling he or this. These words are pronouns or relative pronouns, and they can sometimes behave like nouns, but I wouldn't call them nouns. That'll just get confusing. So these are pronouns, and we'll get to them later. Sentence number 4. Raul has big dreams. So here we have Raul again. We know from the first sentence that it's a person's name. So we say this. Also a noun again.
is noun
dream.
again and dream.
Now, a dream isn't a person, a place. It's not. It's a thing, sure,
Sure.
The reason I put in idea as a fourth category is to get at stuff that you can't pick up. Like, for example, the word, so dream, yes, dream is a noun.
Yes, dream is a noun.
Dream is maybe a little tangible because it's something you can imagine, but the idea of like a word like bigness,
Bigness
or if you prefer, size.
of your size.
The size of Raoul's plumage was astonishing. Look
Astonishment.
at that gorgeous plumage.
And gorgeous plumage.
Penguin mohawk. The size of Raoul's plumage was astounding. Now, in that sentence, size is a noun, but it's not. It's not a physical thing. It's not a person. It's not a place. It's not something you can pick up.
It is not something
So that's why
it's
I
an
include this
idea.
fourth.
So what
So,
I go to the
if
so
you're trying
what
to
are you
figure
trying
out whether or
to
not
figure
a
out?
word is a
Whether
noun, just
a
apply
noun
this
is
test.
a word,
Ask
just
yourself,
apply
is it a
this
person,
test. Ask
place,
yourself
thing,
a person, a place,
idea?
a thing or an idea.
You, my friend, will be golden.
Yeah.
You can learn anything.
Хорошо.
David out.
Ладно, Катя, молодец, все делаешь. Вот. Мы решим, что делать дальше. Все тебе хорошенького, до свидания.
До свидания. Просто смотрите, я не могла там, не успевала, потому что там быстро шел и еще звук.